Hi, so we're going to take a few minutes to go over the Crayon Rock Cycle Debrief worksheet found in today's agenda. Number 1, what is one thing we used for making metamorphic and igneous rocks that we did not use when making sedimentary rocks? So the answer for that would be heat. We use heat for both metamorphic and igneous rocks, but not for sedimentary rocks. And you notice that when you made your sedimentary rocks, they kind of fell apart or a little bit flaky. And in the real rock cycle, that's true. One of the ways you can identify sedimentary rocks is they leave your hands feeling very gritty and kind of dirty, and that's because your hand is actually weathering that rock. Number 2, both igneous and metamorphic rocks require heat. What is the difference between them? So the main difference is that igneous rocks are completely melted to a liquid and then cooled to a solid, where metamorphic rocks are partially melted and not completely melted. You can usually tell what the parent rock of a metamorphic rock is because it's not completely melted. Number 3, after you made your metamorphic rock, how could you turn it back into a sedimentary rock? So you would take a knife or some type of weathering agent and weather it down into sediment. Then erode that sediment, remembering that erosion is the removal of sediment. You would deposit it in your deposit bag, compact it, cement it, and then you would have your sedimentary rock. Number 4, which of the following are very similar to the rock cycle? Click all that apply. So here you're looking for a cycle that does not just go in one direction. So for example, the life cycle only goes in one direction. An organism is born, it grows, it may reproduce, and then it dies. It doesn't become, it's not born, it grows, and then is born, and then reproduces, and then dies, and then reproduces. That doesn't happen. So the only one that really falls under that pattern is the water cycle. The water cycle, water can be evaporated, but then it can rain right back down. It does not have to go through the entire water cycle. Number 5, which of the following are parts of our procedure that were very similar to the actual rock cycle? Click all that apply. So you're going to click everything except for the very first one. So starting with the second, use a knife to shave off pieces of wax to form a pile. This is like weathering. Transfer shavings into a cup. This is like erosion. Shake or stir up the shavings. This is like what happens to sediments in a river or wind or glacier or any type of erosion agent. Deposit shavings from cup into waxed bag. So this is like deposition. Compress shavings until they stick together. Compaction and cementation. Place rock into tin cup or foil. So this is what happens with plate tectonics. Plate tectonics drives the rock cycle because plate tectonics moves the rock from one environment to another. And when it's moved from environment to another, it changes its position on the rock cycle. Partially melting the rock until soft, so this is like the metamorphic rock. And melt the rock until it is liquid and allows it to cool, like an igneous rock. Number 6, which of the following are parts of our procedure that were not at all similar to the actual rock cycle? So you would select only the first one. Peeling the paper off the crayon is not like the rock cycle. We just included that because we had to peel the paper off the crayon. Number 7, for each of the following, which type of rock is most similar in structure or formation? So pavement forming bubbles in the hot summer sun is like a metamorphic rock because it's partially melted but not completely. Making a popsicle is like an igneous rock because it starts as a liquid and then it cools in the freezer to a solid. Baking a cake. This is like a metamorphic rock, but specifically it's like a contact metamorphic rock. So baking, we talked about how underground, deep underground, there are intrusions. So we talked about a big batholith, which is what we modeled in our class with the Tupperware. We talked about plutons and dikes and sills. In all of these cases, they would cool, the magma itself would cool into an intrusive igneous rock, but the heat would bake the rock around it and form a contact metamorphic rock. Setting cement is like an igneous rock because it starts out as a liquid and it ends as a solid. And building a brick wall would be like sedimentary rock because you are using cement to put particles or pieces of sediment together. I skipped making Rice Krispie treats. I would probably say Rice Krispie treats are like sedimentary rocks because very similar to building a brick wall, you're using the marshmallows to hold the sediment together. It could be argued that that's not like sedimentary rocks because it requires heat, at least a microwave. So you get to pick for that one. Number 8, what aspect of igneous rocks is not represented in our model? So I'm not going to go over that here. I'm really looking forward to hearing what you guys say in class because this is really up to you. So in 5 minutes, that is the rock cycle debrief. If you have any further questions, please feel free to post them on the forum or let me know in person or through Twitter at the Science Room or email.